Hey everybody, this is Joseph Morone, a partner at Automated Sales Prospecting, and I want to thank you first and foremost for watching this video. Right now, my team and I are working with a lot of technology organizations to help them improve their sales results through using the next wave of sales automation that we created. And I want to touch on a few recommendations that I have for leaders like yourself to create more business-focused conversations with the right level decision makers of your target market. So this is something that we do and we help our clients with to improve their sales results. But I wanted to create this video for really any technology organization to use, regardless of where you are today, what you have in place today, what your objectives are. I want to be able to create a universal video that you can use to help you generate more leads. So again, I'm going to rattle off my top 3 recommendations. So recommendation number 1 is to create congruency and targeting congruency throughout your organization. If you look at the average sales approach or sales cycle for a tech company, it's typically very opportunistic, meaning it's usually with whoever they can get on the phone, whoever they can get to display some level of interest in the technology's profile online or website or whatever it is. And the person that usually reaches out first and is looking at the technology first isn't the person that can make that buying decision, has that buying need to actually go with your product. So the most successful organizations aren't relying on an incoming inquiry from what we're going to call a user level person, somebody who's just browsing the technology. The most successful companies with this, they create an organizational wide protocol. So what they're doing is they go through and they create a validated prospecting database of the real decision makers of the targeted companies that they want to work with. And they use that database, strictly use that database to run all of their marketing and sales activity on. And if you take a look at what's happening right now, and even more so going forward, companies who do this right are typically targeting a level or two higher than what their salespeople might be used to targeting. So by beginning the prospecting and positioning at the top, they've found that their conversations become real priorities, and the solutions that they're crafting for that C-level person is finding real priority and helping that organization become more competitive, and that those people end up typically implementing that solution. So that's my recommendation number 1. Recommendation number 2, so that would be develop an effective messaging. So not only are organizations prioritizing, creating a targeting congruency throughout their organization, but they're also paying really close attention to what their messaging looks like and how they are positioning themselves. So, amid economic uncertainty that we're going through right now, and just in general with how busy and how difficult it is to reach top level executives, messaging around features and functionalities and nice to haves and all that sort of stuff, that will not get the attention of the real buyer, will not get the attention of that executive level decision maker that you're going after. Top companies are positioning their message to be 100% focused on the things that are important to that top level executive, not the user level executive. And what does this look like? So it's the problems or the organizational objectives that your software helps them solve. It's the business impacts that they can achieve, the way that their peers and competitors are using similar solutions and things that they're thinking about. And here's the reasoning behind this. When you talk about things that are important when you talk about things that are unimportant to important people, they don't pay attention, right? That's when you get no response. When you start talking about things that are important to that C-level person's job and survival, that's when they start paying attention to your outbound communications. And that's the type of messaging and positioning that we want to replicate. So let's make sure we are identifying what our prospect really cares about and create our messaging, our blogs, our educational content, our videos, whatever it is. Let's create those around the problems or objectives they have. And that's going to be, how do I increase more revenue for my business? How do we reduce our cost? How do we improve our first time quality? How do we reduce our cycle time, meet compliance, become more competitive? Those sort of things. Let's make sure your messaging provides help and leadership to your audience. And then my third recommendation for today's video is going to go pretty hand in hand with that. And so recommendation number 3 is going to be converse with your audience rather than trying to convert all the time. If you look at the average technology sales, there's typically some level of complexity and risk involved in the purchase and the problem and the entire situation. From the buyer's perspective, there's usually multiple different ways to solve the objective or problem that they're going after. So there's typically multiple different ways to approach that, and there's typically multiple providers that they can go with. So when they're evaluating you, they have to wonder, is this solution right for me? And at this stage, when they are going to that evaluation stage, they're talking to a couple of different companies, there's usually a large behavior polarization, I'll say, between the tech companies that succeed and prevail in these situations and those that end up never really hearing back from a prospect. And it comes down to the simple concept of familiarity and thought leadership. We found that people ultimately buy from people that are the thought leaders and the ones that will teach them how to better their business. So top organizations are choosing to do that exact approach. And instead of saying, hey, do you want to talk? Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk in every single communication and trying to convert in every single communication, they're trying to converse, right? They're mixing it up. They're educating a prospect about what they should be doing to make their organization more competitive. So, forget about hunting conversion every interaction. The conversion is going to come. Focus on delivering business value in each of the communications by teaching that prospect what the top companies in their space are doing, ways to improve their business, and advice on problems or trends that are current today. Establish thought leadership and familiarity, and you will end up winning that long-term sales cycle. So again, these are my 3 recommendations for technology organizations to improve their prospecting and their sales results, right? Create targeting congruency through a company-wide prospecting database. Create messaging and your positioning around things that those executive level decision makers actually care about, and converse and teach with your prospect before you try to convert them. All right, those are my 3 recommendations. Keep an eye out for more of my communications in the future about improving your organization's lead generation and sales results. All right, best of luck. Thank you.